Is it time to sell in May and go away? We're going to have this conversation with the one and only Mr. Dan Bird, who has been right for a long, long time. Folks, go ahead and check out his playlist. He has receipts. So I'm curious, Dan, is it time to sell in May and go away? What say you?
Well, that's a very cute little jingle,
It's
and it's nice that it rhymes, right?
just too easy, though. It's too easy.
Too easy, too easy. But that's something that everybody thinks about, and it's easy to remember. Sell a man, go away. But does it really work? Does it really make any sense?
Yeah.
Well, I don't have the data from Tom Bowley because he did a pretty exhaustive study on that.
Mhm.
And in general, the period from May to October is usually weaker than the other 6 months, the period from November to April. So from that perspective, yes, it usually is a weaker period, but doesn't
Okay.
really mean that we should sell everything and just go away and wait for October. Um, I don't think it's that simple, frankly.
Okay. I
And
like it.
one of the things that I'll point to in my charts section at the bottom, there's a seasonality section down here.
Mhm.
So we can do seasonality of different things, and we'll take a look at the Qs. This is the NASDAQ. And it shows 5 years right there. I'm going to pull it back to 20 years.
Wow, this is pretty cool.
And what you're seeing is right now we're just looking at the NASDAQ.
Mhm.
So seasonality for the Qs. And what it is telling us is that over a 20-year period, it shows the bars show the percentage of months in which the Q closed higher than it opened.
Got it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So if you look at May, 65 of those months, or roughly 65%, closed higher in May. June was weaker, but look at July. July was the best performing month over a 20-year period.
Hmm.
And then August was pretty good as well. But September, it was also weaker. So June and September were both weak months.
Right.
So should we sell in May and go away? If we look at the percentages, so in May up 1.6, June was down 0.1, July was up 4.1.
Hmm.
So there's 5.5 roughly. August was up almost 1, so 6.5. And then September was a weak month.
Hmm.
So just May to August, you're up 6.5%.
Hmm.
Not a bad gain for 4 months, right?
No. No.
So should you sell in May and go away? Well, let's look at this from a different perspective. Let's compare the NASDAQ to the S&P. So compare it to the SPX, and we'll go back 20 years again. So now June again is a weak month. And this is telling you the percentage of months that the NASDAQ outperformed the S&P.
Got it.
All right. So NASDAQ is mostly growth oriented stocks. So if you're investing primarily there, this shows you the percentage of months that has outperformed the S&P. Over 20 years, again, May is 65%. July was the strongest month again,
Hmm.
84% of the months the Nasdaq outperformed the S&P. August was pretty strong as well.
Hmm.
September was weaker. So again, June and September are weak months, but May, July, and August are all pretty strong. And in fact, July is the strongest month of the whole year.
Hmm.
So should you sell in May and go away? I don't know. We can also take a look at the IWM, which is small and mid caps, compared to the S&P. Oh, this only lets me go back five years. I think this ticker only goes back 5 years.
Got it.
So, oh no, there we go. There's 20 years. Okay. So there's 20 years. And in this case, the small and mid caps actually outperform in June.
Hmm.
So if you're a trader, maybe that's the thing to do, is to rotate to small and mid caps in June and then
Hmm.
back out in July, which July was the best performing month for the NASDAQ. But this is a lot more choppy. You can't
Yeah.
really, give a definitive answer in this particular case, other than, May and June are still pretty strong months during that period.
Mhm.
So in general, I don't think it's a good idea to just say sell in May and go away. If we look at a 3-year weekly chart of the S&P right here, so this is 3 years. So here's May period to October period, definitely. And this was the cyclical bull market, remember? So in that particular case, the market had already rolled over starting in the beginning of the year. So there really wasn't any reason to get in during that period. But last year, 23, here's May to October.
Yeah.
That was an up period. In fact, May to July, remember July, I said has been the best performing month.
Right.
So May till July actually was really strong.
Hmm.
And then we got that 3-month, 4-month bear market from July to the end of October,
Right.
right there. So if you look at all of the data, unless we are in a cyclical bear market, which I don't think we will be this year, but I think we might be next year,
Hmm.
I don't see any reason to just sell in May and go away. I think we're probably going to have a pretty good market from now until, here's May, from now until July.
Okay.
That June CPI that we talked about in the last session,
Yeah. Could be a problem.
I think it'll make the market nervous, but when the actual number comes in, the market is going to like it. And
Yeah.
then
Because
when
the commodities are behaving.
right, right, and Powell will probably say, we're not going to raise, but we're not going to cut. Things are going in our direction. Everything looks like
Yep.
it's working, but I need more
More data.
data. Yeah,
Yep.
but he's going to have 3 months then, and 3 months is a good trend. He'll
Sure.
have 3 months of declining CPI at that point. So I think we will have a pretty good market until July, and then in this period here, there's going to be a lot of uncertainty about the election,
Sure.
and the conventions will happen in through that period, and then in November, the election will happen, and I think we'll continue the trend and we'll end higher. So I would say May to
I just want to ask a little bit about the election.
sure,
Um, so I think what you're saying is post-election, no matter who wins, the market behaves and goes up.
yes, correct.
Okay. All right.
Here's here's 2 charts from Stock Traders Almanac.
Hmm.
So the blue and the black ones are when a sitting president is running, which is what we have right now.
Okay.
For some reason, they excluded 2020, and I'm not sure if that was related to COVID or what, but the lines are almost the same, so it doesn't make much sense to me. But
Whatever.
the red one is just the aggregate cycle,
Got it.
presidential cycle. And by the way, this S&P goes back 75 years.
Hmm.
So what you can see is in May, we are at all-time highs.
Yep.
So this is up to date. We're at all-time highs. In general, over 75 years, the market has pulled back a little bit and then goes up from June until August, and then kind of is choppy until the election. And then after the election, it goes higher.
Hmm.
NASDAQ kind of doesn't pull back much, kind of goes sideways until July, and then starts to move higher, and then goes definitely after the election goes higher. So I believe we will be higher by the end of the year. I think we probably in the next couple of months, our bullish trend will continue. That a lot of that is dependent on NVIDIA next week.
Hmm.
If NVIDIA reports well, I think that will be the catalyst
Okay.
for everyone to jump in. I think there's a lot of money on the sidelines
Sure.
in money market
What
funds. In
what did
fact,
what did you? I know we didn't prep for this, but what did you think about Roaring Kitty taking GameStop and AMC to record highs?
oh, you know what? That's something actually I wanted to talk about,
Ah,
and I completely forgot. So thanks for reminding me.
sure.
Um, yeah, again, GameStop um, became the meme stock of the day, right?
Yeah, for a couple of days, Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, went higher. And actually, I have a chart list here. This is actually comes from Tom Bowley. And I'm going to probably do something with this on the website. haven't quite figured out what yet, but there's a short squeeze chart list. So these are all of the stocks. If
Ooh,
I if
short
I
twist.
rank them, there's 46 of them. These are all the stocks that have short interests above 20%.
Mm.
So in this case, Riley right here, 75% of its
Jeez,
float is short. 75% short.
that's a lot.
Novavax.
Ooh,
I'm gonna just put a little. Can you see that little chart there?
I can. Yeah, look at that spike.
Look at that spike. So that's what happens when you have a short squeeze.
Yeah.
GameStop, I think, is on here. Yeah, here's GameStop. There's the
Ooh,
GameStop short
up and
squeeze.
down. Shocking
Yes.
what happens when the company hits you with $250 million in additional shares.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Yeah, of course.
If the stock goes from 10 to 55, why not?
Yeah, this company would
Right.
be not prudent if they didn't sell shares.
Yep. So let's talk about short squeezes for a second. A a squeeze doesn't happen until the shorts feel pain,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
people are shorting. Got a little spike right there. Shorts might have felt a little bit of pain, but then it started back down again. So some of the shorts probably covered right there. Remember, when a short
Maybe.
covers, they have to buy,
Mhm.
right? So you get a combination of just regular people buying it and then shorts covering. And if you have a big percentage of the stock that's short, now GameStop was about 25%
Mhm.
of the float was short. GameStop a few years ago, when it really took off,
Mhm.
it was at the top of this list,
Yeah.
and it was 118%.
Yeah, I didn't even I got to tell you, I did not think you could go over 100%.
Yeah, it's because of derivatives.
Ah, that makes sense.
All right. So the thing to realize with short squeezes is a squeeze does not happen until the shorts feel pain. So right in here, when you've got two big white candles, you see that?
Yeah.
It started to
Monday
move up.
and Tuesday. Yep.
Yes. Well, this is 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
So let's look at the dates. So this one was May 2nd. This one was May 3rd.
Okay, gotcha.
Interestingly, the same dates that I pointed out on my bias matrix. May 2nd and May 3rd is when the whole market started going up.
Hmm.
So May 2nd and May 3rd are two big white candles. So
Okay.
lots of buying. But the shorts don't feel pain until it gets up here. So all of these people that shorted right here
Yeah,
are starting to be underwater,
got it.
right? It hadn't
Yep.
really got there, but it had begun. It had started. So these shorts, especially with something like GameStop, were probably getting concerned that we're going to have a replay of
Mm.
that short squeeze, right? So
Yep.
they were probably getting out of their shorts, the ones that shorted here. Now you got a bunch of them that were shorted way back here too, right? So you
Yep.
can see what happened when it gapped up above those shorts,
Woo.
right? So the price gaps up, and all of these shorts now are underwater.
Yeah, it's estimated. I read an article that GameStop shorts lost $1 billion on Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah. So this is Friday. That's Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. Here's Monday. Now that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there's Monday. That's the day that it gapped up above these shorts back here, all the way back to
Yep. Correct.
July last year, a year ago.
Oof.
So all these guys that were short back here and just hung on said, GameStop is going to zero, and it went from 25 to 10, but some of them got out right here probably, but they weren't really feeling pain until it gapped up on this day on Monday. And
Yep.
that's when the shorts got nailed, got crushed. So not only did a bunch of them start to cover right on that day, you can see that white candle right there. Not only did they start to cover, but they probably also got some calls from their broker, margin
Yeah,
calls that
absolutely.
they basically forcing them to buy, forcing them out of their shorts.
Hmm.
So to get out of the short, they have to buy.
Yep.
So all these were buyers, and then the next day, look what happened the next day. So it closed at 30. The next day, it opened at 65. So closed here at 30. The next day, it opened at 65.
Yeehaw, party time.
What do you think those shorts were thinking?
Oh no.
Oh my God. In
Again.
fact, they were probably exiting their shorts all through this whole period, and probably
Oh,
in after hours, in fact.
probably. Yeah.
And then at that, right from the open, it all reversed.
Mm.
And that's the problem. That's the trouble with short squeezes. They're great if you get in down here. If you can recognize them down here, keeping in mind that shorts don't really start to exit their short until they feel pain. But that happened right here at about 18. So if you wanted to get on that short squeeze wagon and you were looking and you understood it and look at a chart like this, you'd say, oh my God, if it goes above 20, then that's it. It's screaming higher. And that's what it did.
Yeah. Very
Now
cool.
let's look at NVAX.
Sure.
That's another one. Look at that.
Oh,
So here's NVAX, $4.50 on May 9th.
okay.
This is a little after GameStop. So GameStop kind of started it. But when GameStop happened, so GameStop was back here on May 3rd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then I guarantee you all the meme people, the Wall Street bets and all that, they all started looking at all the shorts.
Yeah.
They started looking at something like this.
Yeah.
So which stocks are heavily shorted? And NVAX is one that a lot of people follow. So they jumped on this one. And on May the 10th is when it took off. And I think it had news too. I think something positive with the company happened. But the shorts didn't feel pain until it got over 6. Well, they never had a chance.
Yeah. Jump
Never
to
had
8.
a chance. And then the next point where they feel pain is over here at roughly about $9. So that was the first place where all of these shorts right here started covering.
Yep.
And that shot it up from $9 to made a high of 15. Not quite the same as GameStop, but that's another short squeeze right there. And you could just go down this list and look at all of these. I mean, you can see that one there looked like a short squeeze happened a while ago. Here's Beyond Meat, another short squeeze candidate. This one hasn't really done anything yet. But if this one starts to follow along with the short squeezes, it would have to get up. It would have to get up to 11 before the shorts start to feel pain. Right. So the thing the reason I'm pointing this out is that don't just jump onto a short squeeze just because all of a sudden short squeezes are the big thing.
Right.
Find that shorts don't feel pain until the price gets above the place they shorted. And that's why charts like this are so great to understand. So Beyond Meat, they would have to get above 11, probably above 12, and really up above about 18, 17 or 18 up here where these shorts happen. But it probably would start once it gets up to 12.
Gotcha.
A short start. But keep that in mind. I'm going to try to do something with this short squeeze list. I actually already created a scan, and I scheduled the scan to run every day. And it will tell me every day. Like if we look at GameStop, I'll show you how I have my scan set up. GameStop is right. No, I don't have it anymore. If we look at GameStop, I have my scan to tell me when the 20-day crosses the or the 5-day crosses the 21-day. Let me look at this in my own view because it'll make more sense. All right, so right here, the 21-day cross or the 5-day cross of the 21-day right back here.
Okay.
See that?
Yep.
Pink line crosses the blue line.
Yep.
So that's one part of my scan. The next part of my scan is volume higher than it has been for the last 21 days? In this case, that didn't happen until here, May 3rd. And May 3rd is when this whole short squeeze just started. So I could have caught this right here on May 3rd and jumped in it at that point and then rode the whole thing up.
Hmm. Okay. I
So that
like it.
scan's going to run every day. I'm going to try to figure out a way how I can get that on the website so people can see it if they like playing short squeezes.
Hmm.
They're dangerous. You have to really know what you're doing. Don't jump on a short squeeze thinking it's going to the moon and it will never come down, because it comes
Yeah.
down just as fast as it goes up.
Just as fast.
Yeah.
Just as fast.
But if you can catch them early,
Yeah.
then you can make a lot of money in just, a few days. This is just a week, a little more than a week
Right.
right there. It went
400%.
closed here at 16 and went up to closed over here at 48. So there's a triple
Yep.
in a week.
Not bad.
So, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated on how that
Yeah.
scan is running. I've got it scheduled now to run every day, so I'll get a list if anything pops up. The interesting thing about shorts, like that whole list of short squeeze candidates, that thing can languish. This right here, this thing can languish for months,
Oh, yeah.
and nothing happens with any of these things. They just kind of sit there and don't do anything. They just kind of go along the bottom, and nothing happens. Here's a virgin space, another short squeeze darling, but I mean, they're not going to feel pain until they get up here to $6.
Right.
So it's at one right now. If you wanted to, play Vegas,
Yeah.
gamble, play the stock market like you're going to Vegas.
Yeah, we don't do that here.
Right. We don't, but some people do. And I think it's a mistake, but you buy a bunch at $1 thinking that eventually it's going to have a short squeeze, and it might, but it might not. It might do nothing for 3
Might go to
years.
zero. Yeah,
It
exactly.
might go to zero. It might go out of business. That's right.
Yeah.
So, but even if it did nothing for 2 years at $1, that's lost opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. Opportunity cost. Well, I love the fact that you're constantly tinkering, you're constantly adding stuff to your website for your group and mine. Why don't you show it one more time so we can get the newsletter?
Sure. Breakpointtrading.net is the website, and the newsletter is right in this box right here.
Yep.
And it's free. Just click on that and you'll get the newsletter.
Very cool. And hopefully next week we'll get the camera working. This has been good. Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I don't know why it turned off this time. So
No worries.